Built in the 517 is a podcast about the people who make our local business community what it is. In each episode, host Katrina Hofstetter sits down with business owners from across mid-Michigan to hear their stories, their challenges, and what it really takes to build something from the ground up. The show exists to spotlight local leaders, support small businesses, and strengthen the connections that keep our communities thriving. Here's your host, Katrina Hofstetter.
Welcome. I'm your host, Katrina Hofstetter. This is Built in the 517, the podcast that brings stories that inspire you, encourage you, and introduce you to your next favorite local business. My guest today is Morgan Ekovich, owner of Get Fit With Me. Thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me. I've been seeing your stuff everywhere and I've been listening to them. So I was excited when you guys reached out to see if I wanted to be a guest because I love being part of our local Lansing podcast because I think it's such a fun way to meet other businesses doing podcasts in the area and support each other because it's hard.
It is hard. I don't know if you saw in the information about season 2, but part of why I rebooted is because I'm not getting enough time to get out and hang out with people and other business owners and connect with them. And while it's work and, it's fun to put it together, I love the connection part of it. And just being able to learn more about these people that I might get 5 minutes with.
Yeah.
And I'm also really excited. I'm repeating myself, obviously, but I feel like this is my own little personal opportunity with you because everything about what you are doing and who you provide services to and really your mission is people like me, busy moms. And so it feels a little selfish to have you on as a guest, but this is all for me right now. And if the viewers get something out of it, that's great too. But I'm very excited to have you here today. You have a amazing background. You've got your degrees and you've got different certifications. And I'm just wondering, just to get started here, where or what really motivated you to go down that path for your education?
Yeah. So I hated school. School was not easy. So I knew I had to choose something that I was going to enjoy. I actually took a tour at MSU. I grew up in Mason. So I took a tour at MSU, and midway through the tour, my mom looks at me and she's like, "You don't want to go here." I said, "Absolutely not." She goes, "Well, why are we on this?" I said, "I don't know." So we just left. It was like too big, too many people. And I had gone to Central for a few basketball camps. So I loved the size of the campus. I loved the exercise center. I had always been active my entire life. And my senior year, I got into a little bit more nutrition. So I kind of knew that was an area that I enjoyed learning about on my own time. So when I went up to Central, I was going to go all dietetics until I learned how much chemistry was involved. And that was just not, I could barely get through the 2 semesters I had to take of like intro chem. And I was like, this is not going to end well. We are going to take 10 years to get through something that should only take 4. So I pivoted into exercise science, health, fitness. Central had an amazing hands-on program. We had a 16-week, 40-hour-a-week internship that was unpaid that we had to do. We had clients that we had to take on. And then I also, because I didn't want to lose that nutrition portion, I ended up with a nutrition minor and actually got to like work with the football team, work with the basketball team and the volleyball team and the dietitian to like fuel their snacks. So learning from a sports perspective. And then public health because it was only one more class to kind of round it all out because why not?
Nice. You just reminded me of something. My mom went to CMU as well for the same thing. She became a dietitian, but I remember going with her to what do they call that up at CMU with the big fitness place?
The SAC.
The SAC. Yes. I used to go with her and we'd walk the indoor track and if I had to go to classes with her or something. So little place in my heart for that. So you went through all of your schooling, got your degrees, you're out working in the world. You were doing, like face-to-face in-person training, and then COVID hits. And so you're not doing that anymore, but you actually use that as an opportunity to start things, to start your business. And you've said that you saw really a lot of positive results with clients that you weren't seeing in person. Can you share about that?
Yeah, so I remember actually sitting at my job, all of us trainers prior to the shutdown. I believe it was like March 16th or 18th of 2020. I know it was right in there. Earlier that week, it was a Monday, all of us trainers are sitting together, and I said, if we shut down, what are we allowed to do? And we kind of just openly had that conversation because, like, I don't know, I'm the newest. I don't
Right.
know how all this works. And they said, if we shut down, you are no longer an employee. Therefore, you can provide whatever services you want. And I
Mhm.
said, okay. But they're like, that's not going to happen. 48 hours later, if that, an email comes through. I'm upstairs, my boyfriend, it comes through, I read it, and I like go into shock, reactive mode,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I'm gonna send an email to all my clients. He's like, do you want to take a breath? I said, no. And I like type this thing up, and I'm like, I can guarantee there's spelling errors in this, but like I wanted to get the message out to my clients that because they had already found out, we were the next level to find out. That was essentially, hey, if you want to stop training, totally understand, you choose. If you do not want to, I'm here for you and we will work together to see what that looks like,
Mhm.
whether that's in person, online, phone calls, like we had no idea. And so in that time, it gave me some perspective to think about what was missing in those
Mhm.
one-on-one training sessions that I was like, what types of questions were my clients asking me week after week that I really felt like I couldn't help them with in that 30, 45, or 60 minutes we were together.
Mhm.
And it was the nutrition. It was
Okay.
deep diving into what they were actually eating. It was looking at their water. It was trying to find the time in their day to do the things. It was creating habits rather than, oh, I'm on this diet for the next 30 days and then this diet,
Mhm.
like getting them out of the diet cycling. So, transition, gyms open back up. I'm doing a little bit of online, a little bit in person. About little over a year goes by. I decide to step out of the gym and go full time into mine. And I work primarily with busy moms and busy women. And I've been a nanny for my nanny family since she was 9 months old. She turns 10 this October. It is so I've gotten to like be part of their life, hands-on,
Yeah.
2 kids. And I see the ins and outs of a working mom, a working dad, having school and all of the things, and finding the time to take an exhale, finding the time to drink your water and go to the bathroom, to do some of those things that I think a lot of trainers, when you're in person, you don't think about the whole health. They
Yeah.
take for granted. Like, yeah, aren't you drinking your water throughout your day? Like, no. Sometimes you don't even know where the heck this is, and the kids have drank all of it by the
Uh-huh.
time noon hits. And you're like, yeah, I had a sip this morning, but this is their favorite water bottle. So now you have to
Yep.
get another one.
I'm glad that's not just me. I mean, I don't want that to be other moms, but I can't tell you how many times I will pick up my cup and it's empty, and it's because both of the younger boys have downed it. Do they have their own cups? Absolutely.
Yes.
Will they drink them? No.
Mhm. Or your snacks or your dinner. You're like,
Yes. Yes.
thank you. I'm glad mine looks so good. But like, can I have my own food, please?
Okay, so we're offering online classes, and you've got live, you've got on demand. Do you find for those fitness classes that clients are building better habits and they don't stress about having to travel for those in-person classes? Are you finding that to be a benefit for them?
Yeah, so my one-on-one clients, I have a lot of buckets, and I've over the years as a business owner, you have a ton of offers and then you slowly start to dwindle down and you get more clear. I think that's just what it is. It's the name of business. But I primarily have my group fitness classes. I offer one in person, and then I've got some online throughout the week. And then I have one-on-one training clients. And a lot of my one-on-one training clients really like the recorded virtual classes that I teach
Okay.
because they're less than 30 minutes. I put it directly in our app. We have a personalized app that we use. All they have to do is open up the app, click start, and they follow the video. So it's really nice for, okay, I know I'm getting my workout in today. I actually woke up a little early. I'm going to get it into the start of my day rather than, oh, I don't see Morgan until 10
Yeah.
and I can't do my workout until I see her. So for that, they love the flexibility of being able to fit it into their day when it works best.
Yeah.
I will say for that, it's the community aspect that I think that a lot of us didn't realize we missed.
Mhm.
And I think it's coming back in. So I'm working on adding that back in a variety of different ways in this year and in the upcoming years. Because I started with a free Facebook group. So there's community there, but
Right.
community there and community when you meet with people, they're just different. So I'm trying to have different buckets of togetherness based
Mhm.
on the introverts, the extroverts, the ones who
Yeah.
have time and the ones who don't have time. Because if I offer something to you and I'm like, yeah, we meet 3 days a week in person, and you're like, that doesn't work for me, that's
Mm-mm.
going to create stress and overwhelm, and you're not even going to want to do any of it.
Yep. That's exactly right. I don't know if you'd call it your mission statement, but it's on your website. It's that your passion is helping busy moms create this healthy lifestyle that they love without giving up the wine and the beer and the pizza and all of these other things. So when I read that and kind of pondered and let that settle in, I'm like, this is me. I'm busy. I don't take time to take care of myself. And one of the issues that I have is I feel like there's something in my life that I'm going to have to just completely give up. It's the only way to make progress. So target audience here. So for someone like me who's working full time, running a business,
Hmm.
raising young children, struggling to make time for myself, of all the services that you have, where do I start?
I always like to have a one-on-one conversation with you because everybody comes to the table knowing what they should do, but also knowing what they want to start with. And I want
Mhm.
to start with whatever has the least amount of resistance to you. If we sit down and I'm like, you need to start with nutrition, and you're like, nope, not happening. Whereas I'm like, okay, out of all these buckets, I give you the 5 buckets. We have sleep, we have hydration, we have nutrition, we have fitness,
Mhm.
exercise, then we have stress management. Out of those 5, which one do you think you could start taking on one small thing for? For some, it's I need to start with water. That seems like the easiest thing. For others are like, it's my workouts. I'm going consistently, but I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do it. So each of it is so personalized. So before I even tell somebody where to go, I love to have just a 20 to 30-minute conversation because we are all so individualized. And I think that's why we all end up on that diet cycle, that hamster wheel, is we try to follow something because somebody else, it was successful for them. Great. They don't have the same life as you.
Right.
They're not going to. They may have 2 kids. They may have them the exact same age. They may have a husband. There may be a lot of similarities, but they do not have the same life as you. So, really thinking about and having that conversation of where do you feel like you can start
Mhm.
and not feel like you're adding another thing to my plate. And
Mhm.
then we build habits over time. So, we start with water. And then before I do anything nutrition wise, we always do a 1 week food log in a way that is easy for you because I can't tell you eat more veggies if I don't know how many veggies you're actually
Right.
eating. We like to make changes before we actually see what we are actually doing. Because in our mind, we've tricked us into thinking we don't do anything when that is not the truth. We are always doing something. It may just not be to the level in which we want to achieve it.
Yeah. Something else that I thought of just as I was thinking about this idea of not having to completely eliminate things and how everything is customizable. I What I took away from that is one of the problems I have on the movement side of it, like, being physically active is, and I'm sure there's tons of women who have the same problem, but um, I feel like I can't just do 5 minutes of something
Mm.
because it feels like I'm going to get nowhere. I'm not going to make any progress. It's not going to make a difference. And so I tend to do nothing unless I can force myself to build in the time for, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever that looks like. How do you coach women to break through that type of thinking?
Yeah, so we do it in a few different ways. So if somebody is all or set on 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 60 minutes. That is the only way a workout is classified. A workout is when I get sweaty. We all have this vision of what a workout consists of. And honestly, it's a version of us in our younger days before we had priorities. In
Sure.
reality,
Yeah.
is what we're trying to compete with. So first we look at, okay, what are our priorities? Do we actually have time for a 60-minute workout throughout our week? A lot of times we are trying to take on something that we don't physically have time for.
Yeah.
Like we are busy. Busy is something we all have, But there are times where we're like, yeah, I do watch 2 hours of TV at the end of the night to wind down.
Yeah.
Can I pull out 30 minutes of that and walk on my walking pad? Or can I walk on my walking pad while I'm watching TV?
Mhm.
So first I tell them something is always better than nothing.
Yep.
Dancing in your kitchen is always better than sitting. Doing a 5 minute AMRAP, as many rounds as possible. So you have 3 or 4 exercises, you have 5 or 10 reps. Get through it as many times. When 5 minutes is done, call it a day.
Yep.
Like adding those micro movement patterns in is a game changer. And really just getting in the habit of every day, you're going to move your body intentionally
Yep.
for at least 5 minutes. It can be stretching, it can
Okay.
be walking, it can be strength training, it can be walking where you're talking to a friend, like multitask. A lot of my clients are phone call clients these days. I
Hmm.
pace around this basement as we do our weekly check-ins
Yeah.
because, like, I want them to put their AirPods in. I want them to talk to me on their commute. I don't want to be a thing that takes time out of their day. I want to fit into their life. So when I'm working with them, I'm like, how can we do double duty here?
Hmm.
You always like to call your friend. Can you call your friend and go for a walk? Can you guys both go for a walk together? Can you call your friend while you're meal prepping in the kitchen? Or watch your show as you're meal prepping? That is like AirPods in. These things
Yep.
are probably in my ear way too many times through. Probably need to take a little bit of break in all honesty, but like finding those. So that's like the one way. The other way is a lot of people have step counters or Fitbits or Apple Watches these days. I have them tell me because any app you have can tell you your weekly or your monthly average.
Yep.
If your average is 3,000, make it 3,500 and make that your new goal. So just say I'm going to walk 500 more steps.
Yep.
Once you hit that consistently, then you move up 500 more. So if you don't think taking an actual designated structured time
Hmm.
works for you, think about how can you just be more active throughout the day? And a
Yeah.
step counter is a really easy way to track that.
Okay. I love that. Yeah. And I do think, there are so many apps that people are using, whether or not they have a device or something with it. It is not hard to be able to track those things. I think it's the mindset part of it, of figuring out which direction to go. And for me, I'm to the point where I'm so busy, I need somebody else to tell me what to do, that somebody else gives me the plan to do, and I'm just going to make it happen, because I feel like I don't have the mental bandwidth to come up with the plan. And I'm sure that there are
Hmm.
other women in that same boat. And then there's the accountability side of it, because that's a huge part of the process and part of the services that you offer. Do you find that there is a better outcome if there's like the group accountability where there's the community side of it, or if it's just one-on-one with you and the client?
I have found one-on-one is best,
Okay.
partly because people are more willing to share and open up.
Sure.
It takes something to get used to the women that are in the group.
Mhm.
I think we all know this in networking groups in general. Like it takes a little bit to like build your confidence, to be able to share to start to share your story. And when you can trust one person, I have so many clients that have shared some very vulnerable things with me that like I am a therapist at times because they need an outlet and they don't have that. And a lot of times that's what's holding us back. If they're over here stressing about having to take care of mom and dad,
Mhm.
and I'm over here just telling them, okay, just go do your workouts. Like that's not doing them any good. Then we pivot and we say, hey, let's take your workouts off this week. You have your average, you've been hitting 2,000 steps. Keep hitting those 2,000 steps. Can you drink your water?
Mhm.
And let's pull things back
Right.
because stages change. And I find the more one-on-one, and with my clients, we either do weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly phone call check-ins, phone call or Zoom. Most of my moms like phone call because they can pop in an AirPod and their kids don't
Yeah.
have to be in the thing. I'm not a mom, so I don't know, but like the stress, but a lot of moms feel the stress of like having their kids in camera. And I'm like, I
Oh,
don't care.
yeah.
I I don't care. You bring them, don't bring them, whatever is comfortable. But they feel like they can also go and they can get away from their spouses if they need to share something.
Yeah.
There's things that over time, women get to know each other and they feel more confident. But
Yeah.
there's a point where they also are just like, I need one person.
Mhm.
So that level of accountability. And then we check in via text. I'm like, hey, I've seen you haven't checked in on your actions this week. What's going on? What's a win? What's something you're struggling with? Like, so we talk about that throughout the week in addition to just our phone calls.
Right. Yeah, I like that. And I agree. I mean, if it's over time, yeah, you can build relationships with other women. And we are, I think, naturally more critical of ourselves than other women. So I think for the most part, if we were part of a conversation where we are hearing things, someone's getting vulnerable, if it were us, we might be embarrassed or feel a certain way about it. But I feel like I tend to be more compassionate when I'm hearing it from other people, but that doesn't mean that they're feeling okay with having to be vulnerable in that group environment. So, one of the things that you shared, probably on Facebook or Instagram, I don't remember which it was, that kind of first drew me in to wanting to start with your services were the boot camps. And I tried
Mm,
scrolling on your Facebook page to find the last one. I was going to try to get some information on it. You're going to be able to share it. But
yeah.
I felt like that was such a strong example of the group accountability coming to do these boot
Yes.
camps. But my hesitation in joining was I didn't know, is this something that I come straight from the couch? Or do I have to be, or is it better if I'm regularly active first and I've done other programs or services with you? And then this is kind of the next step. So talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So I started it last June. It's crazy that I'm almost up on a year.
Yeah.
So from June till like end of October, we were at Acme Home Exteriors. We plan to be back there again this summer because they've got this big garage door so we can have the indoor outdoor. It does get a little steamy, but like
Sure.
it's summer and it is currently like -10. So that being said, I will take the 1,000 degrees
Mhm.
any day. So you can be a beginner, you can be advanced. The
Okay.
awesome part about class is everything is timed. So you are not trying to keep up with everybody doing 10 reps together.
Okay.
Essentially, so one of our typical structures is you have 3 to 4 circuits. I check form, we walk around, and I'm like, okay, you're gonna do squats. So you may be doing squats with a 20-pound dumbbell. You may
Okay.
have Jen over here doing body weight squats. At Acme, we have 4 TRXs. You may have Jill over there who's actually using a TRX because she has a knee injury
Right.
and she needs the extra support. But you're all doing a variation of a squat for
Yep.
30 seconds. And one of the things that I love about the boot camp classes, and I love is it's so many women who like to get together, all shapes, all ages, all backgrounds. There's no judgment. People come as is. One of the women who's been taking my class, she took it all summer, and then she's been in our winter into spring session. We've been at Love Light Collective because the warehouse is a little cold in the winter. So we
Yeah.
moved to Love Light Collective in Old Town, and the space is beautiful. Highly recommend checking it out if you haven't been there for a yoga class or even the boot camps. She goes, Morgan, I love this because I can walk in here and I take my makeup off from the day before I come. I can
Mhm.
show up as is and I feel like I fit in.
Yeah.
Whereas there was another woman in class, she's like, I agree because I went to a Pilates class and she's like in her 50s. She's in great shape, but she's like, I went to a Pilates class and I was the oldest by like 30 years. And she's like,
Oh,
I don't want to like I don't feel like I fit in there.
yeah.
So to me, the boot camps was a really good way to bring everybody together in a way to
Yeah.
move their body. That's fun. And there's some people that come and they don't talk to others. There's others that just sit and laugh. We've got a woman named Ashley in the class. You probably know her, but she is a hoot. Like she just makes everybody laugh the entire time when she's there. She brings her daughter when she needs to. And that is the great part is like we all kind of adjust and support each other as needed. So it's been really fun. I'm happy I've continued to do them all through the winter.
Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong. It
Yeah.
sounds a little bit like some of the CrossFit style where you are going to do something for a certain period of time, but everybody's doing it at their own level, at their own pace, whatever that looks like with accommodations, without, but probably not like intense like CrossFit can be.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
You bring your own mat and you bring your own set of dumbbells. So you get to show up where you are. So when we're at Acme, I bring heavier weights because we're at Love Light Collective and there's stairs and it's winter. Nobody
Yeah.
needs to be carrying around. So people are going a little lighter than weights, but the movements are increasing in
Yeah.
intensity. So we kind of get to play and people are liking that. They're like, hey, we get to have a little bit more fun now.
Yeah.
But there's always progressions and there's always modifications because I had somebody that said, hey, I actually tore my meniscus and I can do all upper body. So I write a specialized plan for them when they come to class, like, 'cause she let me know ahead of time.
Right.
So it's a fun group that gets together and laughs and just knows that for 45 minutes a week, they're
Mhm.
showing up and they're getting at least that section of movement in.
Yeah. So so you're doing a winter session right now. When will the next session start? Just to put you on the spot and make you look it up. While you're looking that up, so you already said it's once a week, 45 minutes, because I was going to ask you about, what's the commitment for it? And
Yep.
then it sounds like it's a good, what, like 3 months or so? Is it like a 90-day boot camp?
So it's 6 weeks.
6 weeks. Okay.
So so you can go 6 weeks or 12 weeks. If you purchase all 12, you will get a little bit of a discount.
Okay.
So we've got in person and virtual here in the winter because
Oh,
I
okay.
know a lot of people don't like to leave the house
Yeah.
or work or travel. So the next session is winter 3, and that starts on March 11th and will run through April 15th. And then the second 6 weeks after that is spring 1, and it will be our last session at Love Light Collective, and that will be
Okay.
April 23rd through May 27th.
Okay.
After that, we'll move back to Holt area,
Right.
right there at the corner of Jolly and Aurelius.
Okay.
So that right there is like you have 6 weeks. The other fun part is we have a Telegram group, which is, if you've never heard of Telegram, it's like WhatsApp.
No,
Do you know what WhatsApp is? It's
no, I guess I don't.
a, a lot of people use it for international because you can be on Wi-Fi without having to
Oh,
use your
okay.
data.
Okay.
Or when you talk to people who are not from the States that don't have a normal phone number, it's kind of that in
Yeah.
between.
Okay.
I like it because I can put all of the people who take class in a group and nobody has to share phone numbers with each other if they don't want to. Because I
Okay.
always hate that about group messages is like, I
Yeah.
don't care about giving my number, but then I have to see who are you? Who are you? Whereas in there, it just show they create their account. It's
Right.
free. So in there each week, they also get a 30-minute recorded group fitness class. So if they want
Okay.
to do a second one on their own time,
Yeah.
they can. Some people do, some people don't, and they can go back and do it as many times. And so there's that accountability aspect where I say, hey, what are you working on this week? Who's coming to class? Like that, even just that level of accountability is enough for people to say, oh, yeah, she is looking out for me. Or I
Yeah.
haven't seen you in 2 weeks. You're getting a message from me of like, hey, is everything okay? Haven't seen you in a while. Just checking in.
Right. So in addition to you've got your online classes, your in-person classes, we've got the boot camps that we've talked about. You also have a podcast. So, this is kind of what you do as well. You've got this wellness podcast. Tell me a little bit more about this.
Yeah, so Empower Her, all one word, wellness. I started the podcast September 2024, I
Okay.
believe, was my launch. And I started off with biweekly episodes, went into 2025 as like, we're going to do weekly episodes. So last year did weekly episodes all year long. And I wanted to start it for women to come together and learn about things for women. So I've had Dr. Elena Awala on, I've had Kim Barber on to talk about travel for women,
Yep.
like anything that us as women would benefit from. Like I also, as we jumped on today, I'm like, you would be a great guest to have on because I think a lot of us, we are. I see women looking for people like you and like how can we give them the resource to talk about like hey, these are things that you should do to just kind of set yourself up for success, set your family up for success that we don't know how. So some of the episodes are tailored specifically towards like, I just recorded an episode about menopause. So
Okay.
like you may not be in that area, but like at some point, all of us women are going to be there. I've recorded ones on like breastfeeding and so I have a bunch of guests on. All of them has been women so far, which has been super fun. Not that men don't have anything to bring to the table, but like I kind of want to keep the women's streak going
Yeah.
for a little bit. And then I do a bunch of solo episodes, and the solo episodes are me talking about nutrition,
Okay.
me talking about exercise, just kind of diving into those buckets, and then that mindset portion.
Okay.
So, not to say I don't have a guest on that can fill one of those buckets, but
Right.
those are 3 areas that I'm really confident talking in.
Mhm.
So, they're just easier for me to talk about. Whereas I've had other people come on and talk sleep because they're sleep experts. I can talk to you about sleep, but also hearing it from me all the time doesn't always
Hmm.
sit in that. Hearing it from somebody else the same exact way, we know this, especially when we talk to kids. Grandma could say the exact same thing, and all of a sudden it's the best idea in the world. Like, so having the podcast, new episodes come out every Thursday. So every Thursday, we've got a new episode. I do keep them short. The last one I just recorded was like an hour and 15, and that was the
Huh.
longest one I've had in a while, but it was so great. We just
Yeah.
kept going. But typically, they're anywhere from like 15 to 40 minutes in length. Really
Okay.
easy car driving ones on all the platforms.
Nice. Yeah, I was scrolling back through your YouTube channel to see, and I think I recognized almost every guest that you had on, just amazing women. And there was one that I'm going to go back and listen to the whole or watch the whole episode for. And we kind of already touched on this a little bit earlier in the conversation, but it was about a year ago, and you talked about like this all or nothing mentality. And I already said, it's kind of how I apply being active in my life. Like if I can't dedicate a big chunk of time to it, then it's not going to make a difference. So there seem to be a lot of really great topics out there, whether it's just you or the guests. And so I'm excited to dive into that a little bit more.
I love it.
Um, Before we transition to talk about just more the business side of things,
Yeah.
I want to hear about the cooking club.
Yeah, that, oh my goodness. So, like I said, I wanted to be a dietitian. I
Mhm.
love cooking. I'm not a professional chef by any means. Like, nothing we are doing is like, we're going to set this on fire. We're going to smoke that. Like, no, we are keeping things basic and to the point, but we're making it taste good. So, just this year, I have launched a cooking club. So, for the first 20 people to sign up, it's $17 a month.
Okay.
And every month, you get a live cooking class with me. The day and the time changes because I have women that have different schedules. So, in January, we did a Tuesday night at 6 o'clock. In February, we have a Sunday at 1.
Okay.
Sunday at 1, we're going to prep your breakfast for the week. So, we're going to do high
Oh,
protein mini quiches.
nice.
And so we get a live cooking class, drink wine, drink mimosa, drink water, do whatever you want. We laugh, we have fun. I take you through the steps, we cook it all together. If it's an evening one, you are literally sitting down and eating with your family at the end. Like we
Okay.
are in and out in an hour. Um, and then in addition to that portion, that is all recorded. So if you miss the live and you want to go back and do the class on your own, you absolutely can. You get that recipe as well to 2 to 5 bonus recipes. And
Okay.
because I don't know how to like stay on that, January's group got like an additional 2 recipes because I just was like, hey, here's a taco recipe. Here's this. And then tips. And then we have a Facebook community. So we all join live on Zoom, but then everybody's sharing what they had for lunch this week.
Okay.
Seeing that we did these Mexican protein bowls, I just did a post of like, hey, what are you guys eating for lunch this week? How are you using last week's recipe to kind of transition on over pictures for bonus points? Like, we're not doing anything with the pictures, but like, it's
Yeah.
fun to take pictures of your food. And some people's are like, one of the ladies, she posted a bowl essentially of like chili. She's like, this is the most disgusting photo to look at. Like, because it was literally black beans and like
Yeah.
brownness. But she's like, this is what it was. And I'm like, that sounds delicious. It's okay
Right.
if the photo is not aesthetically pleasing.
Right.
And I love that there's just a bunch of women and moms in there sharing what real life lunches look like and
Yep.
how they are taking protein and fiber and carbs and healthy fats and pairing it all together and making it in a way that's easy for them and gives them
Mhm.
the energy to get through the rest of their day.
Nice. So you said it's live and it's on Zoom. Does that mean I'm cooking with you? Like I'm in my house cooking with a camera on me while you're cooking and everybody else is cooking. Okay.
Yes. So you get the grocery list and the supply list at least
Okay.
2 weeks in advance. And you have so that you know what to have. I have plenty of alternatives. Like one of the women and she goes, I don't eat meat for dinner typically. I eat it at lunch. So I'm like, okay, for dinner, here are some other protein options that you can use.
Okay.
Because we all have different dietary restrictions.
Yep.
Red meat is a huge thing in my life. I know that's not a thing in everybody's life. So, okay, if you're not going to use ground beef, use ground turkey or use ground chicken or tofu. And like I make sure to have a recipe that fits. That
Nice.
was one of the bonus ones is how to cook ground tofu. Had to learn how to do that, which
Ugh.
like put taco seasoning on. It's easy, but like it's one of those where if you're not used to it, it's just learning a new skill.
Right.
And some of us are afraid to be in the kitchen because we don't want it to taste bad. And we don't want to fill it with a bunch of random stuff.
Mhm.
But I want you to feel confident in the kitchen and have fun and be able to say, yeah, look what I just made and it actually tastes good.
Yep. Yeah, my husband does a lot of the good cooking. I mean, everything he cooks is good, but he just seems to know how to naturally experiment with stuff, and it always turns out good. I'm not afraid of cooking in the kitchen. For me, it's the time aspect, which is the
Mhm.
whole issue with what we're talking about today is not having time to do these things. So, okay, cooking club. I love this. Um, so let's talk a little bit on the business side of things. You're helping busy moms solve all of these problems, but you're still a business owner. And so you, I'm sure, have faced problems along the way. Are there any hurdles that you've had to overcome that you want to share about that maybe can inspire other business owners? Maybe they're facing the same type of struggle.
I think one of the things early on was entrepreneurship is such a self-led
Mhm.
process. There's no exact way. And I think once you kind of get into it, literally everything coming at you is like, take this course, take this course, take this course. So I think that was one of the things in the beginning is that I kind of got caught up in. And it was even like the dollar course. I wasn't spending thousands of dollars,
Yeah.
but I was consuming all this stuff that I wasn't actually able to implement. And then I felt like I wasn't doing anything and that all I was doing was learning, which is not a bad place to be. But if we stay in that place for too long, then you
Mhm.
get stuck and then you wonder why the business isn't generating any revenue because you're not actually doing anything. So I would say in the beginning, that was one of the hurdles that I had to learn of like, no, I'm not going to take on another course. It will be there. The $1 offer will come back around. It's
Yep.
what ads do. They will eventually come back around. And then I think the most recent and the most consistent across is having people to relate to that are also business owners
Yeah.
because it can be, and I'm not saying this to deter people, but I think also this part is not talked about as openly is like, depending on your business, you are your own livelihood.
Yep.
You don't work, you don't get paid.
Mhm.
You you want to go do something, you have like I'm getting ready to go on the Lansing Women's Forum trip and like I'm
Yeah.
gonna work a little bit only because like I like to stay up on things, but also I know that if I take a whole week off, like coming back is going to be terrible.
Yeah.
And I have an amazing virtual assistant that helps manage so much of my stuff, but that like it can feel very lonely. It can
Yeah.
feel you can feel resentful sometimes to the people around you who have the W-2, who get paid time
Yep.
off. And I think that's a very natural feeling that we don't tend to accept because, well, it's a life I've chosen. It's still okay to feel those feelings, even if it's something you've chosen.
Yep.
And I think that's probably the most consistent is depending on who's in your circle. If there's a lot of entrepreneurs, you may not feel this as often. If you have a circle of entrepreneurs and then a circle of not, there's going to be the circle of not that you are going to have those feelings. And it's okay to have those feelings, but like just know they're real and that they're there and just acknowledge them.
Absolutely. Yeah. One of the other things that comes to mind for me is, I mean, and it plays into that a little bit too, which is not feeling confident enough to recognize your own worth. And so
Mm.
then it's really hard to go on a vacation and step away because you're always feeling like you have to grind and make sure that the revenue is coming in and keep the business going. But I think stepping back and really reflecting on, well, I've got to be at my best and thinking about, am I really compensating myself enough? Am I, um, is my pricing right? Are my services what they need to be? I see that a lot with people,
Mhm.
especially early on with imposter syndrome and, just struggling with those types of things. So,
I have one more thing to add on that.
yeah,
I also think the other part is you have to be able to take time for yourself to
yeah,
eat right, move your body, drink water, get sleep, because I think especially in the beginning stages or when you're launching something new or the business is changing in just a small amount, the amount of work goes up, which
Mhm.
then means we sit or we stand at our desk for longer because there's not enough time in our day. And this goes for even if you work for somebody else. I don't care. I don't care if you work for somebody else or you work for yourself, but being able to step away and say, I need to take 5 minutes to go outside and get fresh air
Yeah.
and walk because I'm going to be able to come back and do better than sitting here
Yep.
burning the candle at both ends. And you get to the end of your day and you're like, exhausted, can't keep your
Yep.
eyes open, a zombie, and then your brain doesn't shut off because you have all the things running around because you haven't taken any time for yourself.
Yep.
Sorry, but my little 2 cents on that as well.
No, I can feel my husband's eyes boring into me from across the room. He's got a look on his face. He's like, she just described you. So
Sorry.
no, no, I think it's great. Um, so you mentioned the Lansing Women's Forum, which I was going pretty regularly for a while, but probably before you were. And then we know each other more recently from Lansing Ladies League, just amazing group of women to network with. How have you been able to grow your business connections with other owners through groups like that?
Yeah, so the two groups that I am regularly a part of is Lansing Women's Forum. I that was the first networking group I actually stepped into. And I remember I would kind of go when it worked for me or when I
Yeah.
wanted to in the beginning, because it's uncomfortable to go into a room with people that you
Mhm.
don't know and to be
Yeah.
asked questions. And honestly, as much of an extrovert as I am, if I have too much networking in one day, I need no more human interaction by the time 3 o'clock hits. Like,
Mhm.
don't talk to me. My brain is mush. Like, I need to not see or speak to another human.
Mhm.
Um, and so in the beginning, it was trying to find the balance of like, okay, what else did I do that day? Can I actually go? And then I've started going consistently, and it's such an amazing group of women
Mhm.
that the great part about that group is it's you have the consistent people that come every single month. Then you have the newbie that comes and then life happens and they can't come again for another 2 years.
Yeah.
So there's that group. And then I lead the 517 professionals networking group.
Yep.
And that one right there is co-ed. And it's funny how they both have excelled my business in various ways.
Mhm.
And having people not just for me, like a networking group in my eyes, yes, I could track where the revenue comes in.
Yeah.
I could track all the things. The thing that I find like lights my heart on fire is the fact that I have a list of people that for any of my clients, I have a reliable resource for them.
Yep.
Like I have a client, she's 89. She stopped driving. She lost her best friend last year.
Mm.
And this was her first holiday this past Christmas where like her friend would go and get her wreath. And we were sitting there and she's telling me about all her stresses, 89, all of her stresses. One of them being that she doesn't know how she'll get her wreath for her doors. And I'm like, oh, I know Tess with Plant Joy. Let me shoot
Mm.
her a message. I literally ordered them for her. We left a checkout. Tess brought them and hung them up
Oh,
within 48 hours. And it was just having
yeah.
those people to help support and
Yep.
like having a mover that I know I can trust. Like those are things that to me mean more than if I get the sale.
Yep.
Like I want to be able to provide that network of like, hey, go see this person because I know I'm not the fit for everybody or at the time, I know I'm not the fit, and that's
Yeah.
okay. But I still want to help you in whatever way possible, whether it's another trainer, a gym, or you just need a different resource.
Yeah. And that kind of highlights more of that holistic approach when you're working with people. Like you're not just focused on what you can give them, you're also kind of always having an ear out for something that they might say or just a random thing that they might ask you about and knowing that you've got those connections. That's huge. I think that really sets businesses apart from others that are just focused on how am I going to get something out of this.
Hmm.
And the client is the one that benefits because they've got this trusted person that is not only helping them, but is connecting with other people that they can help. So the last thing I was going to ask you about,
Yeah.
other than the podcast, because you did mention working with other, like Elena, and I saw Natasha was on your podcast for probably breastfeeding or lactation
Mhm.
stuff. Are there other opportunities that you have to collaborate with other businesses outside of the podcast?
Yes. So I've done some like co-speakings, like Elena and I have done some workshops together. Our most recent one, I think, was like last October. We met at the West Side Y, where I used to work at way back in the day. And I love that some of the staff is still there. They're fantastic. But we did like, I taught strength training for the first half, and then she taught hormones. So I love opportunities like that. And I love when they're free or low cost. Like we've done one at the
Yeah.
library, we've done it at the Y, because really it's about sharing information on a platform that
Yeah.
works best. For some people, it's audio. Put me in your ears and I will learn and I will implement. For others, I need to be able to see you. We need to be able to have a one-on-one conversation. So I love events like that. I guess I'd say I haven't really gotten into like a consistent of like, hey, we do this, but I love collaborating with other people who kind of fall in the same realm,
Yep.
who we believe the same thing going forward for our health and wellness, because I may not be the best option, and I know that. And I may be really fun to be around, but like, really, you're looking for somebody who's going to help you this way.
Yep.
And if I can somehow bridge those gaps and provide any of those or be a part of any of those events that I know women are putting on, I love to do that.
Okay. Other than the dates that you mentioned for the different sessions for the boot camps, are there any other events coming up that you want to mention?
So cooking club, you can roll anytime. So
Okay.
don't be waiting for like, hey, sign up. Like if you're interested in the cooking club, just sign up or come send me a message, because
Okay.
that's an evergreen one. We're keeping that one open right now until we've got the 20, which I believe we only have 8 more spots before we fit
Okay.
that 20. Then we may shut it down for a little bit, just to kind of let that group have some fun.
Yeah.
Other than that, we don't have any big events coming up. I've got some things out of state. I'm speaking at a business conference for the dairy producers of Wisconsin. Both my parents grew up as dairy farmers. I've got this whole agricultural background that, like, depending on the room I'm in, I talk about it. So, because like it's not always relevant.
Right.
But I'm headed out there in March, which is super fun. And then just the boot camps, we're gonna keep
Okay.
doing those. I want to somehow create, and I haven't gotten there yet. We have a lot of like local run and walk clubs
Okay.
that meet. I don't know if you've noticed that, but like on
Mhm.
Facebook, there's like groups that meet at Rio and they go run,
Oh,
and then they like come back. So I'd love to somehow get with any of them to pair up and say, hey, can I run your warm up?
yeah.
Because X, Y, and Z. So just there's things that are rattling around in my brain, but nothing has like seen its way because it is cold. And
Yeah.
I'm booking all the things of like, what can I put my head down and get done in the cold?
Yeah.
Because as soon as summer hits, that is my season. That is when work gets lighter for me. It can be heavier in the winter
Mhm.
when the weather's not as nice.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me. This has been very personally enlightening, and I'm sure that there's a lot of great information for all the viewers as well. And then if you're watching and you'd like to be a guest on the podcast, or you want to nominate another business owner, you can email Beth at cornerstonelegalpllc.com. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining us for this episode of Built in the 517. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel today and support local businesses in the 517 and hear more inspiring stories.